Now I give the floor to the distinguished representative of Sri Lanka.
Mr. Chairman, I won't be wrong to say that the use and testing of nuclear weapons is one of the most serious threats to the community of nations and future generations. Distinguished delegates and Your Excellencies, we will recall that the atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945 and their long-lasting effects reminds us of the devastating consequences of nuclear weapons. We have pledged never to do it again. However, the irony of it all is that the present-day nuclear weapons are more powerful compared to that of Hiroshima, which had an explosive yield of approximately 15 kilotons of TNT. In contrast, modern nuclear weapons can have a range from tens of kilotons to multiple megatons. Some nuclear warheads almost around 100 to 1,000 times more powerful than the bombs that devastated Hiroshima. That is the irony of it all. Sri Lanka echoes the cry, I say, of humanity to be freed from the spectre of nuclear warfare, and therefore actively supports all initiatives that contribute towards a world free of nuclear weapons, and the banning of nuclear tests, I say, is a giant step towards that end. Distinguished delegates and Mr. President, over the several decades, Sri Lanka has been unwavering in its support for the attainment of a world free of nuclear weapons and the complete elimination of such weapons. We have consistently expressed our support for nuclear disarmament, which is universal, non-discriminatory, and verifiable. We remain convinced that the goal of nuclear disarmament can be achieved in a time-bound manner by a step-by-step process underwritten by a universal commitment and an agreed multilateral framework that is global and non-discriminatory. We believe that there is a need for meaningful dialogue among all states possessing nuclear weapons to build trust and confidence and to reduce the salience of nuclear weapons in the security doctrines. Mr. President, given today's international security environment, we welcome the enhanced resonance of the international community on the shared objective of eliminating the nuclear danger. Mr. President, today's commemoration and promotion of the International Day Against Nuclear Tests is an important affirmation, I say, of our common determination to create conditions and steps necessary towards the legal proscription of nuclear tests, and I congratulate Kazakhstan on its initiative. It is a well-accepted fact that ever since its invention, the nuclear weapon has occupied a special place in the global security order, but militarily and politically for no other reason but its extraordinary destructive power. Nuclear weapons, unlike other types of weapons, have starkly divided opinions, however, among states and people. They are seen by some as both the ultimate guarantor of state security and weapons of state security and weapons of evil. However, it won't be wrong to say that no one publicly denies the need to achieve the ultimate objective of the total elimination of nuclear weapons. The canvas it presents is made more complex by the fact that nuclear material has both civilian and military use. It is against this backdrop, Mr. President, that regulating the use of nuclear energy and materials must be examined by focusing on nuclear non-proliferation and disarmament. In order to do this, I say that we must carefully consider where we are today in the context of the Partial Test Ban Treaty, which banned nuclear weapons tests in the atmosphere, outer space, and underwater. The Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, and the Treaty on the Prohibition on Nuclear Weapons. It might therefore be pertinent to recall that the General Assembly's very first resolution that established the Atomic Energy Commission, which amongst other things ensured the use of atomic energy for peaceful purposes and the elimination of atomic weapons. Regrettably, the Commission failed to agree on any meaningful measures due to the disagreement on the priorities of the superpowers. Distinguished delegates, it is time, therefore, that our collective global goal must be to strive for a world that is free of nuclear weapons and other weapons of mass destruction. But doing so, it is important, I say, for every member of the global community of nations to take all necessary steps within its competence to sign and ratify the CTBT and to help bring that treaty into force. The CTBT, one would agree, is an effective measure for promoting nuclear disarmament and non-proliferation by constraining the development and qualitative improvement of nuclear weapons and ending the development of advanced new types of nuclear weapons through a global network of monitoring facilities that allow for on-site inspections, strongly urge and encourage the 8 Annex II states that have yet to sign and ratify the CTBT to do so in view of its overwhelming and near universal support and role in achieving a world free of nuclear weapons. Furthermore, we also believe that the Treaty on Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons should be the ultimate goal. The Non-Proliferation Treaty has been adequately reflected, as you know, in the TPNW. Distinguished delegates, Sri Lanka believes that it has an obligation to convey to the future generations the tragic consequences of the use of nuclear weapons and attaches great importance to education on disarmament and non-proliferation. I sincerely hope that this meeting will contribute to raising public awareness of the importance of nuclear disarmament. Mr. President, the task at hand is urgent. Our earthly sojourn is limited, and during that time, we need to secure the planet for the benefit of our future generations, in keeping with the intergenerational trust we have covenanted to keep. There is only one compromise, and that is a compromise for the sustenance of a peaceful world in which all humankind can live in peace and in dignity. I'm sure the youth of today would tell us in simple terms that we can do without nuclear weapons. I thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the distinguished representative of Sri Lanka.